Jared Poland, FroKnowsPhoto.com here with, what's your name?
Shana.
Shana, and you are calling from, you said you're in what, Carolina?
North Carolina, yep.
You're in North Carolina, originally from York, PA, and what are you doing in North Carolina? Tell everybody.
My husband is in the Army, so we're at Fort Bragg currently.
Is he deployed?
He's going to be deployed. This will be deployment number 3 coming up here in a couple months, so.
Going back to, where's he going, Afghanistan?
Yeah, he was in Iraq he was in Iraq once, and Afghanistan will be the second time now.
3 tours is kind of tough, eh?
Yeah, especially, we got 2 little ones, so.
Wow.
It's going to be really hard this time, I think.
Wow. So, I didn't do the intro, but I sort of did the intro, but this is the rapid fire critique, which is never rapid, and it's never full of fire. It is just critique, critique, critique. I'm going to go through your pictures and see what, well, why don't you give us some background into how long you've been shooting, what you're shooting, just so everybody out there can get a feel for what you're doing.
Okay, I just started photography probably about 6 months ago, so I'm very, very new, and I picked up a Nikon D3000 just because it was in my price range at the time. I do want to go with something better down the road here, but working on getting some new lenses and everything. I only have a kit lens right now, so
it's a D3000 and 18-55?
Yeah, just the kit lens. I'm trying to work with that as best I can until I get, a better lens. But
sure.
I've only been shooting like 6 months, and I'm just taking pictures here and there. And actually, your website has been the most helpful.
Great.
So.
Great, thanks. All right. All right. So you're pretty new. D3000. How long have you been shooting?
Like 6 months, I guess.
All right, so that's not bad. When I always ask for the harshness level, but I know that it really doesn't matter because I'm just going to give the best corrective criticism that I can. I try not to be harsh. I just try to give it straightforward.
Yep, that's great.
That works out. So I saw you have more than 10, so we may skip some pictures in the try to speed through as quick as possible. But why don't we just start right here? What were you going for in this picture? Just go ahead and shoot that out at me.
That was actually a very quick shot. The dog, Sage, she laid down right under a picnic table, and I saw an opportunity. I tried to shoot through the bars. I don't know. I don't know if I like it so much, through the leg there and the bar, but it was a quick shot. So and because she was just looking like directly at the camera, and I just took it.
And what were you manually exposing, or what settings were you in?
Yeah, this one was manual.
Okay,
no, this one was actually automatic. Yeah.
Okay. Well, in terms of the bars being there, I don't have a problem with that. I do it a lot.
Okay.
where I use the bars in the front to draw you into the subject, so it sort of frames the dog and draws you in and gives it some more interest. It may work better in certain situations than others. I don't think it really takes away from the picture here. It's pretty good. It's exposed well. The automatic did a great job there. Composition-wise, you did what you could do shooting through the bars. Maybe as a second shot after you do this, try to step in a little closer and fill the frame with just the head of the dog. That could give it a little more symmetry. If you use the pole and the other thing to just draw you into the middle just a little tighter, that could be a second option.
Yes, that would be a good idea to do.
Yeah, so no, it's right on. I like the focus. It's great. And like I said, don't be afraid to shoot through things. That's a great thing that you saw there to say that I'm going to shoot through here. It's definitely going to give interest to your images. All right, so we have a Humvee here. Mm-hmm. What are you shooting RAW?
This one, I'm not sure if it was or not, actually. I switch back and forth. Yeah, this one's RAW, yeah.
All right, so...
Actually, they're all RAW and JPEG, so they're all both of them, yeah.
So you were basically on base here or something?
Yeah, it was on base. That's just a shot I took. I don't even know who it is. It just
stood out at you.
Yeah.
Well, it's a nice angle. I mean, shooting with just a kit lens and D3000, it looks like you're seeing the image very well, which is a great thing. I like that the Humvee isn't exactly right in the middle. You left some room to think about where it's rolling, We call it leading lines when you use let's say the car in this case pointing out of the frame, but you left enough room to think about where's it going. Is it just sitting there? Is it moving? I mean, I would assume that it's just sitting there based on the way the person's sitting in the front seat.
Yes, yeah.
But I like what you did with the toning. You pulled it back. You did something a little different, and it works pretty well. So here we go. Tell me about the helicopter.
The soldiers here were actually they were training. They were jumping out of the airplanes, and this one, this was a copter coming down, and I tried to get it. I kind of wanted it in the air, but I also liked their equipment on the bottom there on the ground. I wanted that in there too, and then I thought it was cool because there were soldiers coming up in the background. So,
what type of exposure were you doing here in the camera?
I think that was also on automatic.
Have you ventured out of auto yet?
I did. I've tried that a couple times, and it works a couple times, and then I'm still working. And then that's my safe zone is going back into auto.
Sure. Well, what you could try is you could go into aperture priority.
Okay.
That could give you a kind of what you could shoot with. But also, here's a tip for everybody out there: if you're not afraid to get out of auto, but it's the safe zone, because it is a safe zone. It does a great job. If you take a picture and then look at it, and on the back of the camera, look at what the exposure is, you'll see the shutter speed, you'll see the aperture, and you'll see the ISO. Then put your camera into manual, set it to the exact same settings, and then just play around with moving your exposure up, moving your shutter speed down. See what happens. See how if you make it quicker, the image is going to be darker. If you make it slower, well, wait, let me think about that again. Let me just try to get that right, because I don't want to screw anybody up. If your shutter speed becomes faster, you're going to let less light in. You're going to need more, to capture the motion. That's when you usually use. This probably used a really fast shutter speed to freeze it. That's why the blades are pretty much frozen. But just play around with your exposures. Look at what automatic did, and then put it into the manual modes and replicate it, because now you're actually in manual, and now you can tweak the shutter speed up, tweak the shutter speed down to figure out, the cause and effect. When you change this happens. When you change that happens.
Yeah, awesome.
But what's great about what you're doing is you're capturing the image first. And I think if you can get a feel for the composition and framing and seeing the images like you did here with the people you said it. I see the people in the background. I wanted to get the helicopter where it's at in the air, but all the gear on the ground. That's the right mentality. Your exposures and shutter speeds will come later. I'm perfectly fine with people being in auto to start and just learning how to get the image composed properly. That's totally fine. That's a great way. That's how I learned, because I didn't know any better. But no, you're definitely on the way, because you're seeing the image very well.
Okay.
So you used a crop here.
Yes, it was cropped. There's a lot of people around. I was trying to get them out as much as I could, but I still got a little bit of the soldiers in there. And then the main focus was the parachutes in the background, coming down out of the sky. But and it's also I edited in Lightroom, so.
Okay, no, I don't mind the crop. I mean, cropping is a personal preference. If it makes your image stronger and you feel it's better, then that's perfectly normal. That's perfectly fine. So I get people railing on me all the time about cropping and all that good stuff, but it's personal preference. And I think it really works well here with how you did it. It creates a lot of interest, because you have the soldiers at the bottom and then you have the parachutes in the background. Is this auto again?
Yeah.
All right. Well, the auto's doing a great job, so you can't really complain about that. So no, it's another nice image. Try making it black and white just for fun.
Okay.
Just
cool.
just as something different. There's nothing wrong with it here, but see if making it black and white in Lightroom and pumping up the contrast would allow you to just give it a different feel.
Yeah, that actually might be a really cool idea. That sounds awesome. Try.
Yep. So definitely try that. All right, what do we have here?
That's my oldest daughter. She was just sitting outside, just did that pose randomly, and
sure.
I just took it.
No, I like it. Again, it's your composition is ace. It's right on, because you didn't put her right in the middle. She's on the left-hand side. You're using an 18-55, and usually people are afraid to get close with those lenses. Afraid because you figure you should zoom in, but you're doing a great job in just filling the frame with the subject. And I mean, here obviously she's comfortable. She's not looking at you. It's a great picture.
Awesome.
right? I mean, we don't have to really get into the exposure aspect of it because it's more about when you're in that first year, that first 6 months, and just learning how to compose. That is, if you can get that down, you can learn the exposures later, as long as you do start to learn them. But just start to look at the settings in the computer later. Just say, oh, this was shot at 400 ISO at 200th of a second, and then try to replicate it when you're outside shooting, and then you'll start to get a feel for, how that works.
Yeah, awesome. Okay.
Sky picture. I'm going to skip past the sky picture.
Okay.
All right. What do we have here?
That's my youngest daughter. She was just on a swing, and that one I didn't even edit very much. It was like perfect lighting, and her eyes just were popping out. So.
Yeah. What did you process this in?
That one, I can't remember now.
All
it
right.
was a little while ago.
Well, it looks good. Did you crop this at all, or is this how it was shot?
I think it was cropped a tiny bit, but I know I went super close to her, so.
Okay. I would suggest at the beginning, think about how you crop it in the computer.
Okay.
All right? But think, if that's how you want your composition to be after you do it, think about how you could actually get that image when you're shooting.
Yes. Okay.
Because one, it's going to save you a lot of time and in editing, and two, especially with the D3000, if you needed to enlarge and do different things like that, you're going to use the maximum amount of pixels that you have. So definitely utilize cropping. Notice how you would have cropped it, or how you would crop it in the computer, and then say, if I was shooting this in the actual scene, how could I get past cropping it later? Just start to think about that. Fill the frame as much as possible, get as close as possible, and then you don't have to worry about cropping later because you're thinking about it in your mind. Something that I do when it comes to, one of the reasons I don't crop is, say I'll do a wider shot and then I'll take a step closer and do another shot and then take a step even closer or zoom in more, and I'll take 3 shots of similar poses, but it gives me the full frame image, the full image without cropping later. So I have those to choose from. Instead of shooting wide and then cropping later, you're actually shooting multiple different images.
Yeah, that's definitely something to think about. I didn't even think about, doing that, but that makes sense.
Yep, think about it, because you can utilize what you have in the computer to help you visualize it and then capture it later. But no, again, your composition is right on, that she's not right in the middle here. The eyes are the main focus. The colors are very nice. You're definitely on your way here, so this is really good. Quick suggestion on the dandelion.
Yeah.
Just move it off to one of the sides or the other.
Okay.
What was funny?
I was gonna say, around, I don't know what it's called now. I when I look at this picture, I can tell. I don't know if you see how like speckly, blurry it is. When I edited it, when I edited it, when I look at it, I don't like it anymore. I don't know.
Well, that's fine. Just I like that the focus is right. Again, the 18-55 lens.
Yeah. Yep.
So you're doing really well with the kit lens. Your focus is right on the dandelion. Either get a little closer, or just move it off to one of the sides a little more.
Okay.
But are you doing the processing or editing in Lightroom with this?
Yes. Yep.
All right. So you're taking the raw file in and you're converting it.
Yes. Yep.
All right. So you have a nice feel for that already too.
Yeah.
This one, I'm totally we're gonna say, try not to do a shot like this.
Okay.
All right. Looking straight down on the B. It was hard for me to find that at first. This is where it gets to get closer, get on a different angle. But again, it's all a learning experience of seeing what works and seeing what doesn't.
Okay.
Now this is great.
Okay.
This is spectacular. Beyond, like, the colors are great. The dandelion, what ladybug? That's a young ladybug. Doesn't have a lot of spots. The colors are great. So this is, I'm gonna say, based on the sun, we're looking at 5 o'clock, right, an hour before the sun goes down.
It was about 5. Yep.
Yeah, you can tell this is like around golden hour. This is where the light is the best. Like right before, an hour before the sun goes down, it's giving you this awesome contrast that you're gonna get out of your images. Just look at how the reds pop and everything. This is a killer shot. I like that. I mean, with the 18-55, again, that is just, it's amazing what you're getting out of it.
Awesome.
You see how the background's blown out, and you probably were zoomed in with this, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite pictures that I've taken so far.
That's a great picture. I really like that. That's done well. Not as strong as the other one.
Yeah.
Think of the crop in this case. I guess you can't see my cursor on the screen.
No.
All right, put your hand up to the screen and like block off just most of the right-hand side of the image.
Okay.
All right, and just do it up to like the twig, but not touching the twig.
Yes.
And then put your other hand right below the other part of the twig on the bottom. Look at that type of composition, that type of frame.
Yep.
So it would just be filling the frame more, but
Yeah.
This is one where if you got closer, it would be even better.
Awesome. Okay.
But the colors are cool. I mean, really, that's done very well. This one's really small on the screen.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
That one I think got cropped down.
Yeah, see what happens? How you lose all the quality? We're just going to go past. What do we have here?
That's my oldest daughter. We were at a park one day.
Cold day?
I think this one, I mean, you could tell better than me, but I think it focused on the bar and not on her eyes where I was trying to focus.
Do you have your focus? Yeah, it looks like her hand is nice and sharp. It's hard to tell on a small image like this, but yeah. Where are you? What focus mode do you have set to the D3000? There's AFA, which is AF auto, which is, I never recommend that. There's AFC, which is continuous, and then AF single.
I think it was actually the continuous one.
All right, when you're shooting the kids not moving, go into single, because what will happen is you will lock in on her eye, and then shoot, and then even if you move slightly or you recompose your image, then it'll be locked in on her eye.
Okay.
Also, for pictures like this outdoors, if in Lightroom, if you add some yellow to it, it's going to warm it up and make it look less cold.
Oh, okay, cool. Okay.
All right, so just do that. And is this cropped or not cropped at this point?
No.
All right, again, composition. I like what you're doing. What you're doing is basically the rule of thirds. You're throwing her off to one of the sides to create more interest, because if she was right in the middle, it wouldn't be as interesting.
Okay, cool.
All right.
Good.
Another daughter?
Yeah.
Okay. You popped the flash off in this one.
Yeah, I think that one turned out a little bit. I think the flash was off. I think because the sun, it was, the sun was going down and it was good lighting outside, but, it didn't show it in the picture.
So you used the flash in this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what you could do if you don't want to use the flash and you want to try to get around that and you don't want it to popping up, just go to the P mode. Just put it in P, which is program, and that will override the flash. It will give the settings. It's basically auto, just out of the auto modes. It allows you to change your ISO and things like that.
Okay.
But again, the composition is good. Maybe get a little closer, fill the frame a little more with her face. Because you see how you cut off her wrist and things like that? It's like, if you're going to cut off her wrist, you might as well come in even closer.
Yeah, okay.
Or leave the wrist all the way in. But in this case, it's still, you're very close. You're very close. This is really nice. It's a nice candid moment, nice pony. The colors are great. The tones are great. You edited this one again?
Yeah.
Again, really nice job. Yeah, I like this. I like this is great. Try black and white on this one as well. I know the colors look great, but it could give it a nice feel if you did it the other way. Went black and white and pumped that contrast. It could be a nice black and white shot.
Okay.
This shot I could definitely do without.
Okay.
Because what are we looking at, And I'm not being harsh. I'm just saying it like it is for this. It's okay. I mean, it could be, are you going for the poles? Are you going for the trees? Or are you going for the walkway?
That's the thing. It was just kind of everything. And I guess I see your point where it's like, what are we looking at here?
Yeah, so it's just a little visually confusing. But
okay.
One thing you could do is you could go to the path, one of these paths, and then go, say, focus in on one of these poles. And then if all the poles are in a row, then if you focused in on the first one, the ones in the back are going to start to go out of focus, and then use that as like leading lines to draw you away. So instead of just shooting a broad shot, I think you actually may have tried to do that, because now I see this pole all the way to the right. A way that with the 18 to 55 you're going to get the background to blow out is if you zoom out to 55 and you get as close as you can where it will still focus on the pole.
Yeah, okay.
That will help the background blow out even with the kit lens.
Okay, all right, that's good. I was actually trying to do that the other day, and I couldn't figure out how I did it.
Yeah, that's part of the assignment that we have in the forum right now. If you go into aperture priority and you just start at the lowest aperture, which will be 3.5, and then you do like 5.6, f8, f11, take the same picture at different apertures, then you're going to see what's going to happen to your background. Try it at 18 and then try it at 55 just so visually you can see what's going on.
Okay.
Next picture, this is just pretty much a snapshot.
Yeah, and that one was actually when I first got the camera. That was like the first day, so...
All right. One thing you could do to make this stronger, black and white high contrast would give it more interest.
Okay.
So we'll go through here. Okay, now we've got something. You know, you're trying something that's very symmetric. There's good symmetry here. Black and white, I can definitely tell it was needed because there was probably not a lot of color in the scene.
Yeah.
So it's definitely...
It was pretty dull and...
Sure.
You know, just... Yeah.
It's definitely a start. You're going to see when you use your apertures, when you start to realize that the wider the aperture and the longer your lens is zoomed out, you're going to see that the background will start blowing out, which will mean that it won't all be in focus, because that's what's happening in auto. It's probably going to like f5.6, and you know what I mean? So it's when you start playing with the apertures, you're going to see how you're going to get more control over the depth of field.
Okay.
Wow,
awesome.
and that was the last image. Wow. So this is the strongest, one of the strongest images you have here.
Okay.
You're doing a great job for only shooting for 6 months. This stuff is right on.
Awesome.
So
that's really good. You know, you and Greg have been like the biggest inspiration. So
great. Yeah. So definitely, your composition is there. That is a great thing, like I said, to have first. Being able to see the image and compose the image is more important to me up front, opposed to learning all the technical aspects of what everything does, but not being able to actually go out and see the image.
Yeah, okay.
So you're doing a great job there. And now take what you capture here and start to understand what happens if you play around with your settings. Like challenge yourself to shoot in aperture priority or in manual for a little bit. Like take a shot in auto, look at your settings, and then go and set the camera exactly that way. And like I said earlier, look at what happens if you bump your shutter speed higher. Keep going. Just keep ticking the button up. Go from like 500th of a second to 1,000th to 2,000 to 4,000 to 8,000 and see what happens. Sometimes the exposures won't be right, but now you're going to literally see what's happening when you make those little subtle changes. So you're going to get you know what I'm saying? You're going to start to see what's happening.
Yep, that's good advice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So
I will definitely try.
Yeah, I would keep shooting. You've got subjects to photograph. You've got the Army base. See if they'll let you into places where they don't normally let people, and start shooting. I mean, it's
awesome.
There's nothing wrong with doing that. You know what I mean?
Yep. Awesome.
All right, so you're definitely doing a great job, and thank you for sending these in.
Thank you. Thank you so much for looking at them and letting me know.
No problem. So we're gonna wrap it up right there. That's another rapid fire, well, not so rapid fire critique of somebody's work. I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna sign out. Jared Poland, FroKnowsPhoto.com. See ya.